Perfect. So thanks for joining us tonight, guys. I wanted to put this together again. We had one of these kind of by accident a couple weeks ago, and we had fantastic feedback about how educational it was, since we have most of our calls, their overviews or their corporate calls. And this is more of an informal question and answer. This can pertain to business building. This can pertain to questions about how the nodes work, the new licenses. I've asked Travis and Chandler and Eric and John to join us this evening because they're all such a wealth of knowledge that I want to be able to take turns answering questions. And Travis, do you have anything that you want to get started, or Chandler, that we can kind of kick off with before we open it up for questions and answers?
Yeah, I think we're going to kick it off tonight with Mr. Chandler, who's got some updates for us and some recommendations. As you guys know, the last few weeks has been challenging when it comes to getting 2FA activated, and we've encountered a few different challenges there. And Chandler has been such a blessing, to the team in a sense. He doesn't work for customer support, he doesn't work for debt, but he has been really, assisting a lot of people with their 2FA. If you were not at the event, they talked a lot about how they knew it was going to be painful to force the 2FA. 2FA, by the way, means two-factor authentication. But they said that it was something that had to be done. Debt as a company, or debt as an ecosystem, is being targeted by a lot of phishing scams that are out there. If you were to go right now, just Google DebtBox, you'll see 5 or 6 ads literally that show up. And you got to make sure that if you're going that route to access that, you're going to thedebtbox.com, because there's a lot of phishing sites that are out there. And so it was necessary to elevate the security to protect everybody's assets. And that, with that being said, there has been some hacking events and things that have happened. And so we knew that forcing the 2FA was going to be a little bit of a challenge, and it has, had some hiccups along the way, but we are working through those and identifying what the challenges are. So not only that, but there's also some updates or maybe some corrections to the enrollment process that are going to be very important that you need to hear tonight. And I'm going to recommend that everybody get on the Xnode call tomorrow morning. There's a PDF and a checklist that's going to be going out tomorrow that pretty much we now give to every single new member that's coming in the door, that they literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, step by step, exactly what they need to do so that they don't find themselves in situations where the licenses aren't being assigned or there's issues that are happening. So Chandler is going to talk about all of that stuff tonight. So Chandler, take it away, brother, son, whoever you are.
Hey guys. So yeah, a lot of you may have known me or talked to me, or I've helped you guys with some of the two-factor authentication things, but there have been some changes so far. Almost, I'm going to say 95% of every two-factor authentication issue I've run into is user error. People are confused. It's a new thing. It's really hard. So I am happy to help with you guys if you're having issues or if you have any questions with that. But with 2FA, there are a couple important things that I want to go over, and some of the most important ones I think a lot of people are doing. And the first one is you can get your two-factor authenticator locked. So if you're signing someone up and you mess up once, or I think it's actually 2, maybe 3 times, you will get an unknown error. If you're ever getting an unknown error anywhere in your DebtBox account, it means that you're locked out. So don't keep going because it increases exponentially. And it took us a little bit to figure that out. So the first time you're locked out, just like if you were, trying your password and that wasn't working, and you were to try and do it again, same thing with two-factor authenticator. So if you're setting it up, you enter the code wrong, or it changes, because it does change really, really fast, changes every 30 seconds. You're going to get an unknown error after, if it's incorrect. And if you do it correctly and it says unknown error, that means you're locked out for an hour. And then if you try again, it's going to lock you out for 2 hours. And then after that, I think it's 24 hours. So a lot of the issues that I'm running into are people that messed up once or twice, and then they keep trying. And then when I hop on with them, it's turning out that they just have basically a big buildup, kind of like when you lock yourself out of your iPhone. And if you keep doing it, it gets longer and longer. So take a breather if that's you, or if that's someone you're signing up. Come back to it in an hour or two, or give me a call so I can help you get it set up the right way the first time. And then the other thing that is super important with two-factor authentication, I would love to show you guys, but I don't want to disable mine because of the hacks and stuff out there. So I was thinking about disabling mine to then re-enable it and showing you guys, but I decided not to. I love my tokens too much. So, but the first thing, when you guys are going to go through, all you have to do for two-factor authentication is download an app on your phone. It's Google Authenticator, or you can use Authy. And you're going to go into your browser. It has to be done on your computer, and you're going to scan it. You're going to choose Enable Two-Factor Authenticator. And then once you enable it, it's going to show a QR code. All you have to do is scan that QR code with your phone, and it's going to give you a 6-digit code on your phone. And this is now the most important part. You have to type in that 6-digit code below on your computer, below the QR code, and you have to click Authenticate. If you close that window, what's going to end up happening is that code will stay on your phone, but it won't link your DebtBox to that code. So now when you try and go withdraw, or when you try and do something else, and you type in the code on your phone, it won't work. It'll say incorrect. And a lot of people are like, I'm typing it in. I know I'm doing it. I'm not crazy. Well, it's because they didn't actually click Authenticate and link those two. So that's really, really important. And that's also how you end up with multiple different codes, because people keep doing it over and over. So just a few things to clarify. Make sure that when you are doing it, you should only have one authenticator code. I've worked with some people that have, 2, 3, 4, 5 authenticator codes. And that's also why none of them are working. You should only have one. And make sure that if you are getting the unknown error, stop what you're doing and reach out to me or DebtBox support if you need. They can unlock it. But if you keep going, it's just going to keep locking your account out further and further. So if you actually do it right, it won't show up and you'll go crazy and want to break your computer or something. So that is the first thing with two-factor authenticator. And then remind me, Trav, what else was I was going to talk about?
Well, on that note, and then the second thing you're going to talk about is the steps for activating the back office. But on that note, real quick, when you enroll someone, guys, ask them, are they familiar with two-factor authentication? Ask them, so because there's people, and I was guilty of this week. I brought in someone and just assumed that they knew what it was and said, here, just go ahead and activate your DebtBox account and click this button and just follow the steps. And she got lost and ultimately tried it a few times and got locked out. And that's my fault, because I didn't take the time to really ask her, do you understand what two-factor authentication is? And if not, take the time to kind of maybe hold her hand through the process, or even do a screen share with her through that process the first time. So definitely make sure that you're asking your new members if they understand that process, so that they don't end up with a frustrating experience. There are videos that are out there. I think that the company is actually putting out a corporate video here within the next few days that is going to help people through that process. But my understanding is that Mike Tharp and those guys have put out some videos on this already. And so if you need some help with it, you don't understand it yourself, get with your upline leadership, and just make sure that that person doesn't go into that completely in the dark if they don't understand what 2FA is.
Yep. So then as far as 2FA goes, text me after this. It's pretty simple once you're not locked out, and I can help you up, get that started too. But that is one thing to bring up. And then when you sign someone up, make sure, like he said, bring up 2FA. But the other thing that I think is really important is, so there's kind of been some confusion over the last couple of weeks. You may have heard, do not make or have anybody make the DebtBox account first prior to an IX account, because that can cause some issues. Well, that is still the same. You should never have someone go to thedebtbox.com and make an account there, because when you sign up at IX Global or ixacademy.us, it generates one for you, kind of, right? And that's where you go create one like you all have done. But the problem is you have to go set that up before you purchase nodes, or really at the same time as you purchase nodes. And the reason for that is a lot of people have been waiting to set up their Xnode account, which is essentially just the DebtBox. And it has, when the licenses that they bought go to get assigned, there's nowhere for these nodes to get assigned. And so it's really important that when you sign someone up, they log in, they create their IX Academy account, right? And then they buy their nodes. The process does not end there. Do not let them go off on their own without, in the same moment, saying, okay, now that you've bought your nodes, let me show you how to set up an Xnode account. And that's where you're going to go through and go to products, and then you're going to click on Xnode, and then you're going to have them create their temporary credentials to log into Debtbox right there on the spot. A lot of people are waiting, days and sometimes weeks to create their Xnode account, but they purchase nodes, and then they're wondering where their nodes are. The nodes can't get assigned until you've made your Xnode account. So to clarify, still do not make an Xnode account, or excuse me, still do not make the Debtbox account first, but you do have to make your Xnode account first. Does that sound right? Is that confusing?
I'm going to show it to him right now, actually. I'm going to show. So again, number one, no, is make sure that when you are signing someone up, they don't go to the debtbox.com at any point at any time to create their Debtbox account. Why? Because it creates a retail account. Okay. So that's first of all. Number two is the only time somebody should create a Debtbox account, or the only way, is through the IX Global back office. Now, when should they do it? They should do it right after they buy their licenses. That's the next step. They're not done when they buy their licenses. They then need to go create their debt wallet. Why? So that when they now assign the licenses, those licenses get assigned. What we found out is there was a lot of confusion around the fact we were teaching people, don't set up your Debtbox account until the licenses are showing up in the back office. Well, the problem with that is they have nowhere to go and nowhere to put them until the account is created. And I'm going to show everybody where you do that, and then we'll stop here and pause, and we will ask for some questions here. So let me go into my IX Global back office here real quick.
His is more fun to look at than mine.
All right, so I'm in my black office, and when you are first signed up, or when you first sign up and you now go in, if you're new and you're going to come down here to click purchase add-ons, you're going to click purchase add-ons, and this is where you buy your licenses. Now, once I'm done and I've selected, either sent my Bitcoin or I select COD, I'm going to come down here to go to my products. Okay. And then once I'm in go to my products, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Xnode account. And once I'm here, if I'm new, there's going to be a little link right up here that says create your debt wallet. And that is where somebody is going to create their debt wallet. That is also where they're going to be asked to create or establish their 2FA. Is that correct, Chandler? At the time that they create that wallet?
Sort of, yes and no. So I will show you, actually, I can share my screen on where to do the 2FA.
Yep.
Can I share my screen here? Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarah's co-host. Yeah, go ahead.
So let's do this. We're going to share my screen. So everybody, can you see this? Okay. So when you log in, this is going to be your dashboard. The very first time anyone logs in, the first thing that it's going to do is it's going to pop up and say, verify your email, right? So then you're going to have to verify your email to send you a code. You'll type it in. You'll do the same with your phone number. Cool. The very next thing, and every personal that I sign up, I walk them through all of IX, and I walk them through this, because now I know that they're not going to be hitting me up in 2 weeks or in a month and say, I forgot this. How do I do this? I don't remember how to do this. And it just gets way complicated from there. So you'll click on your name in the top right, you'll go to preferences, and then you will scroll down, and this right here will say enable two-factor auth. Mine says disable, but this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. You'll have them click on their name, click on preferences, click enable 2FA. And then once they do that, it will pop up a QR code to which they will scan with their phone. It has to be done from your phone. Some people want to do it from their computer. Don't do that. Do it from your phone. That's the most secure way. So this is where you'll go once you've logged into Debtbox or Xnode, depending on where you log into.
Okay.
So.
All right. So any questions?
No, but I want to make a statement.
Go for it. Go ahead and stop sharing as well, Chen.
You know what? I can figure out how to do crypto, but I don't know how to stop sharing my screen. So it's kind of awkward. There we go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This became an issue with me, and I just want to stress how important this point is as well, to make sure very relevant to the people you're signing up. When you get into that Xnode account, your first time logging into the Debtbox, you're going to be given that mnemonic or whatever that word is, phrase, that 10 or 12 word phrase. Write that down. You do not want to go through the process of having to get that back or have to reset your entire wallet and lose any tokens you by chance have in there. You don't want to go through that process because I'm going through it right now. Don't do that to yourself. Please make sure and stress the importance of writing that phrase down to everyone.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah,
pardon me, go ahead, Chandler.
Oh, I was just going to emphasize on that. Yeah, there are 3 things that are really important, especially if you've done network marketing before. My dad can attest to that are very, very different here than anywhere else. And one of those is this is crypto. So the 2-factor authentication, you have to stress that is something they need to set up ASAP, not in a month, not when they want to withdraw, set it up now. The second thing is to not just screenshot, but to write down the 12-word seed phrase in their wallet. Because if you lose your password, guys, and you have to reset your password, you will lose everything that is in your wallet. All the coins that you've withdrawn out of your piggy bank will disappear forever, which a lot of you probably understand by now, but most people new to crypto are like, think it's just like anything else they can reset. So make sure you guys stress that hard. Every person, I mean, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is say, hey, if you don't do this, you can lose money. And that normally gets people's ears, they start listening right there and they'll take care of it. But yeah, that is a great point. Make sure everybody that should be duplicating, stress how important the 12-word seed phrase is. If you remember one thing, remember that.
Chandler, Joe said something the other day, and Doug, I see your hand up and we'll come to you here in just a moment. Joe said something the other day where there was going to be a little bit of a delay on when that seed phrase actually showed up. Is it still happening right when somebody is first activating that debt wallet, or does it show up a little later? It's been so long for me since I've logged in, I really don't know. So when does that 12 words pop up?
It should be assigned instantly. In most cases, at the very latest, it will be as soon as there's a node inside that wallet. So if you have a node inside your wallet, you have a seed phrase. So at the latest, I mean, a couple days maybe, but for most everybody, the 90%, you're going to have your there is sometimes a small delay, but on most scenarios, check right when you log in. And if it's not there, check in a couple hours.
Doug, do you have did you want to go?
Yeah, thanks. I just have a quick question. One of the things I find is that the 4 weeks cycles comes up pretty fast. And so one of the things I was thinking and asking, what I want to ask is, any reason not to have people set up their auto renew in IX Global before you even go into the debt box setup?
No, I think that the subscriptions are very important. I don't know if they automatically set them up, or it's changed so much that I came in 6 months ago. I don't know for sure if they're auto. When they first enroll, do they automatically get put on a subscription, or do you have to go in and now put them in?
They are, and they are now, because I've even had customers call and say, why is my $50 auto renewing?
Oh, great. Okay.
So they have to go in and turn it off at this point.
Which
Perfect.
even
Okay.
if they want to, always prioritize the debt box info first, because it is so annoying, as some of you guys have probably known, to try and go recover that days or weeks after you sign up, trying to figure out what your temporary credentials was. Always, that should be the first thing you stress, is getting into debt box.
And just so you guys know, even if you are not necessarily qualified for commissions yet, being active, at least at that $50 level, will allow you to start retaining volume and storing volume. And that stored volume builds up and builds up and builds up, and essentially kind of serves as a savings account that eventually you can tap into. But if you're not on that minimum of that $50, or you have at least placed an order, meaning it could be a node rental, you will lose that volume, and it just washes, it just flushes. So just keep that in mind as well. Better Humans. I don't know who that is, so Better Humans.
How you going? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, good. Travis, yeah, I'm the thorn in your side. Shane Shields that always is asking you questions, but thanks for your help,
Hey,
mate.
what's up?
And also Better Humans, the YouTube channel, and crypto is key on the leaderboard.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Listen, I just want to circle back to the 2FA and to the mnemonic phrase that was spoken about. I actually created an account on a video tutorial, and it actually bypassed the mnemonic phrase and didn't actually show it. So I just wanted for everyone to understand that you can actually, even if you don't get that, you can go back to your profile and then click on settings and then click on security, and you can actually get to your mnemonic phrase there. And just, as a precaution, don't ever leave it on your computer. Always store it offline. Don't take a screenshot of it. Don't write it down in a text file. I use metal plates where I put my seed phrase in. So even if your computer goes, gets stolen or your house burns down or whatever, you will still have your seed phrase there. And the other thing I want to mention about the 2FA is when you're setting that up, you could screenshot but print off the QR code, but there's a backup code there, and it's important to back that up, because if you lose your device, you can always reinstall either Authy or Google Authenticator, and all you need is that key or that code to re-enable it. Then you won't have to go through all the drama. A lot of people do that. They get a new phone, lose their device, and they haven't backed up that code or that QR code. So yeah, I just wanted to stress on those 2 points.
Hey, Shane, real quick again, how do you get to the mnemonic phrase again, settings, and then what was it? Just so that people that are listening might want to go do that if they haven't done it.
Yeah, in your Depbox account, just go to the right where your name is, click on that, click on settings, and then on the left, you'll get 3 tabs, and you click on your wallet. And if you click on wallet, it'll give you the option to do all sorts of stuff. So you can get your mnemonic phrase, you can reset, you can do all that.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. And guys, we really do need to be thinking responsibly in the sense that, your spouse should know how to get into your account should something happen to you, right? I mean, this is crypto. Crypto's a little bit different, right? It's one of those things that if somebody doesn't know how to get into your account, doesn't know their password, and doesn't know your phrase, that money's gone forever. So just, be responsible with it. And those of you that are sponsoring, be responsible as well. What I mean by that is take the time to coach your people through the most important steps, which again are what, Chandler? What are the most important things that need to be remembered?
Set up Xnode first, set up 2FA, have them write down their seed phrase. If you suck at everything else, but you get your people that's all that matters, because they will be taken care of. And everybody, and it's simple enough that once you do it once or twice, everybody, even the newest person to crypto, should be able to help show their new prospect or new downline how to do those 3 things.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I was just going to say something, Travis. Exactly what Chandler's saying. I kind of had to take to heart when I was bringing people on board, and even more so the last couple of weeks, because we get so busy. We're bringing on, we're talking to people, we're helping them through, setting up their crypto accounts and so on. We kind of lose track. And what I have been trying to do now is I created a checklist. So as I'm bringing somebody on board, I kind of have those things in mind of, when they're coming on, because they're brand new, they've never done this before. And what I have learned is if you do that process, then it allows them to get to doing a rental or purchasing a node a lot quicker. And once they get to that level of being able to do that, their confidence level just kind of shoots through the roof. So that's what I've had to take on myself, and make sure that I go through the people that I've had involved, making sure everybody's at that same point, because we lose track of people, and I'm completely 100% guilty of that.
Awesome. Looks like we got a couple more hands up, that there's a few more questions. I've got to pop off here in just a couple of minutes. I've got to jump onto a webinar that I'm hosting, but Eric and Chandler and Shane and a bunch of other people that are here that know a lot more about this stuff than me anyways, will be here to kind of guide us through and help as well.
Jennifer, you had your hand up first. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, actually, about the mnemonic phrase. I mean, I'm Kelly, I think that's how you say it, whatever, but the phrase. I actually wrote it down on a little piece of paper, and I gave mine to Sarah because I'm alone. And my kids, if something happens, I mean, they're not even going to know anything about this. Yes, I have it in a little safe, but still. So I'm like, you know what? I just did that. Just FYI for anybody else that's alone. I'm just kind of setting that all up in case. I'm not thinking anything's going to happen, but I just wanted to, because this is important. I mean, that's another reason I'm doing it, not only for me, but for my kid, my granddaughter, whatever, but mostly for me. But just a little FYI.
Cool.
So I have are you finished?
Go for it, Doug.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just have a quick question on the comp plan, if that's okay, just on QRV to get a little clarification, or do you want to stay on this setup? discussion?
Qualified. So I've got to pop off. Is anybody, Eric, are you comfortable with qualified rank volume? QRV is essentially the volume that is calculated for the rank that you have in a 4-week period. So it's your current week that we're in, plus your last 3 weeks, and it can always be found under rank analysis in the
Yes.
little yellow button.
Yep, Travis, that's where I'm finding it. Thanks. My question is, what are all the things that contribute to that? Because that's one thing that's kind of holding me back. I
Enrollment
keep-
tree volume. It's not spillover volume. It's anything that's in your enrollment tree volume, but you also have to look at the caps per line. And it's not based on the binary. A line is defined by somebody that you sponsored. So it's anybody in your enrollment tree, and it's the memberships, it's the rentals, it's the new licenses, it's all of those things.
Okay, great. All right, that's helpful. Thank you. Okay.
All right, guys, I'm popping off. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you soon. Keep rocking and rolling. Thank you for putting this together, Sarah.
Thanks, Jeff.
Let's see.
Cosette.
I just got a really quick, I want clarification from Chandler. I hope Chandler's still here. I'll turn my video on. Where he says, after you get into creating the debt wallet and you click on your name, the preferences, at some point he says you must do it on your phone. Which part of it is you're talking about, Chandler, that you got to do on your phone?
Great question. So for those of you who don't know what a two-factor authenticator is basically a code that you have to go get somewhere else to enter on your computer. So that code you're going to have on your phone. So you're going to download, I use Google Authenticator, it's free, but you can use Authy is what they recommend. And when you link the two, what's going to happen is your phone will now have a code on it whenever you open up your Google Authenticator app. And that code changes every 30 seconds. It's constantly changing to a new code. And so that's what I mean by the code or where you're going to set up your two-factor authentication is going to be on your phone.
Okay, I understood that. It seemed like there was something else you said that you need to do on your phone. It's like, okay, that's confusing, but the authenticate, that part, I understood that part.
Yeah, sorry.
Cosette, I can help you with that. That's not a problem.
Oh, no, I've already got mine.
You've got it already? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
mine's all done. I just want to make sure that I'm clear when I'm helping other people
Yeah.
to make sure that I can get that right. And that's why I wanted, we've got ours all set up. That's not a problem. But I want to be able to help others. So that's the big thing.
Yep.
So thank you.
Well, on that topic, a really good point that the other gentleman made. When you are a picture of QR code, you can also write down the address, because that's right. If you lose your phone, drop it in the toilet or a river, like Authy, you're going to have to set that to two-way authentication if you're going to need that as well.
You're breaking up. I couldn't really understand what you're saying, but somebody did mention about, I'm really good at losing my phones. And
So yeah,
So-
basically what you want to do is when you set up the 2FA, you have a QR code there. You also have a backup code, the key code. You want to back that up. You want to keep that offline, but you want to back those up so that if you ever do lose your phone, all you need to do is reinstall Google Authenticator or Authy, and then it will ask you, there's a little plus sign, you click on that and you'll be able to enter that code manually or scan the QR code and then automatically add your 2FA back. So that's if you lose your phone. So it's always important to back everything up, especially when it comes down to keys. A lot of people, a lot of my downline, they haven't backed up those 2FA keys, and then they've lost the phone, or they've bought a new phone and want to transfer, and then they haven't been able to. So it's really important.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. As we're moving forward, right, into the future with all this digital stuff, we're also kind of going a little old fashioned. You got to write some stuff down on pieces of paper, put it in a physical safe. which I've never had to do anything like that my whole life until crypto. So it's kind of funny. Make sure you have some paper copies. And then also, like, I have a journal where I have everything written down. It's in my safe. So that's what I'd recommend for you guys too. Is there any videos on backup? No, but I can show you how to do that actually with a screen recording. I'll post one tomorrow. It's super easy.
I've got backup ones on my YouTube channel, Better Humans. Even the video that I made today, I'm showing a backup. I use a metal case that you can get for like $20 off Amazon, and it just, you imprint the actual letters and it just goes into a metal case. So it's like indestructible. So with paper, I lost a private key when I was living in Australia in a flood, and I lost like 10 Bitcoin. So yeah, I keep everything on metal now, just in case. So, because I mean, even if your house burns down, you've still got metal, right? But not paper. So
Chandler, where will that be found? How to back up the phone?
I don't have video out, but I can put it on my YouTube channel. But in the meantime, it sounds like Better Humans has one. I'm happy to shout out his channel too. Do you have one on your channel?
yeah, I have like just about all the videos that I've made on IX Global and DebtBox. I mention it. I'll just have to have a look on which one. I'll send you a link.
Put your YouTube channel in the chat, and then I also put mine. Mine's Flaherty Crypto. So
yeah, I'm subscribed to you. Mine's Better Humans, just with a Z, same as the name. So it's if you Google search Better Humans, you'll find the channel there.
I'll put out one tomorrow as well, just because it's not super hard once you figure out once you are able to follow directions and see like what it is. It'll take you guys like 2 minutes to set up. So I'll walk you through that.
I see we have I don't want to butcher their name, Rahani with
Yeah, thank you. I have a quick question on the new licenses. Actually, there's Bev and Block just started, right? So how does it work? Because this is the first time I'm buying these perpetual licenses. I was just involved in the rental licenses. Anyone knows how they work? Because starting today, there's like, nothing much, like just 1 cent, 2 cents. So how does it work actually? If anyone knows the history of the older licenses when they started?
I'm probably going to direct you to a presentation, only because that is a question that could take, the next hour answering.
Okay.
So what I'll do is friend me on Facebook, and I'll tag you in a couple of videos that explain it a little bit better. And that way you can really get the information that you're looking for, other than me just trying to spit out an answer that will be kind of rushed,
One thing I can say about that is when we first got in, Alum and Explorer were coming on board, and they did take, once they launched and they got them starting to move, it took several days. I'll just tell you, it just took several days for that momentum to kind of kick in until you started to see everything that was kind of functioning and working properly. And I'm in the same boat on this. I think it's going to take a day or two for us to see that, because if you notice right now, Blocks has some information on there that's up before the Bev is, and I think it's just going to take a little time for that to happen, because that was kind of the same process that happened with 2 of the other nodes when they launched, and when we got on 7 months ago, that did happen.
Perfect. Thank you.
But
I think also if you have a look at the Blocks and the Bev contracts and the mining, you'll notice that Blocks is mining a lot more. Bev is not mining much at all. And with the supply of, what is it, 11, I think it's 11 billion in circulating supply now. So there's definitely not, either the contracts hasn't kicked in yet or something, but the amount of, I think the last cycle was like 10 or 11 tokens for Bev. So, and if you have a look at the Blocks one, it's in the thousands. So I think I'm not too sure what's going on there, but it doesn't seem to have kicked in yet.
Thank you. I see Radiant has their hand up.
Yes, hi. In regards to the 2FA, and we were talking about the QR code. I had one of the affiliates that he was having an issue, so he swiped his phone totally. And now, how do you bring up that QR code, or he didn't save that, the long code either, to be able to connect his authenticator to the wallet? That's something that has to come from debt.
Yeah, so it depends. So if he logs in and where we went to see if it says enable 2FA, then he can fix it on his own, and he can just create a new authenticator from that. If it says disable authenticator, and he lost his authenticator and can't back it up, you can reset it. You have to email debt support at thedebtbox.com, and you have to have him take a picture of himself holding his ID, and they'll only reset it if he's smiling in the picture, is what I've been told. So no, I'm just kidding. But they can reset it, and then he'll have to reset it up from there.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
I see Cassette has their hand up again.
Yeah, this is on a totally different subject, but my question is, when we have the burns, when they burn half the tokens or whatever, where are those tokens coming from? Because I'm thinking, well, they haven't taken any from me. Are they burning tokens that people already own, or are there tokens out there that people don't own yet, but they've been mined? Where are those? That's just my question. I don't know if it's clear. Where are those tokens coming from that are getting burned?
That's a great question. So it works like a lottery. One random unlucky user every single month just gets half of their tokens gone. No, but
you're cute, Chandler. Really cute.
And you're up next, Cosette. Okay.
No, but the way it works is, so they do those burns out of the EGI pool, and Eric, you could probably correct me here because I know Eric's really knowledgeable on this stuff too, but the way the EGI pool works is that's where all of the token essentially is, and it's waiting to be mined. So every day, all of the nodes are mining token out of the EGI pool. Think of the EGI pool as all the tokens that are waiting to come into the ecosystem, and the only way they can come into the ecosystem is through people like you and I that hold nodes. And so that's why you guys have noticed with Black Gold, if you guys own Black Gold, or if you own any debt licenses, they just had their annual halving. I think it was January 1st, maybe the 4th or something like that. And so all of the tokens in the EGI pool are burnt, are cut in half in that specific case. With Bev, it's going to be quarterly quarters. Every quarter it reduces by 25%.
Right.
And that's why your node will produce half as much, because they're basically burning the supply that you can mine from now. So it's making it harder to get a hold of, but they're not burning any existing token in anyone's wallets. The existing token that is being burned is from the royalties. So they buy up token that are on the markets in the ecosystem that already have been mined, and they burn that token using the royalties from the companies. And then the halvings are burnt from the EGI pool. Is that, you want anything, Eric?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Okay,
One
say
thing
it
was
again. Just say it again. Okay, please, Eric, you say it again. Chandler did great. Now you say it again.
Sure. So the way I can say it is imagine you have a vault with, billions of coin in there. Okay. And then when they generate revenue as the company from this particular project, they go in and they can remove X amount of coin, purchase that coin out, and then they take that coin at that point and they send it over to a location or a wallet of itself, and they burn that, meaning that it is no longer available to any of us, to the system, to the ecosystem, or any of it. It's gone forever. And that's what they do. They take that, and that takes that coin out of that, so that it's never dispersed out to anybody from that point on. And it's an important part of if you really understand and start to get into the tokenomics of this, what Chandler was just talking about is what makes this all work. Okay. if we didn't have the burns and we didn't have the purchases and we didn't have the halvings and all of this, so on, this would continue to run. I mean, even though it would run, it would just mainly not really go anywhere at that point. What we have here is that supply, if you understand supply and demand, that supply starts to be moving down, that demand is still there, meaning that those nodes are still mining the block and so on, which is creating the more and more value. The more money the company makes on the projects and so on, that just continues to bring in more value on that coin too as well. So it's kind of a lengthy process, but it's an overall part of the tokenomics of each one of these projects. Each one is different. The pool totals and so on are different as well, but it's the same process with each one of these projects.
Okay, and that's what my understanding is. That's what makes us so different from any other crypto, is because you don't get this same tokenomics with anything else that's out there. Is that right, or am I wrong?
There are similar models, but the way that they're doing this with commodities, I've never seen anything like this with the tokenomics side of how it operates. Chandler just posted something in the message there that it is similar. It has some similarities to like Bitcoin on the burn ratios and so on. Okay. But as for, I haven't seen anybody, and I've been around a bit with crypto, I haven't seen anybody doing anything it this way with the projects connected to it, generating the revenue, burning the coin from the EGI pool at this way. So it is different. It has its own feel to it, and which is, I think, for me, it gives it a lot of credibility in really what this is as an overall system and the projects of how they're running, so on. So there's a lot more to it, and Cosette, I'd be happy to spend some time with you, so you understand it better. But just know that it's kind of like its own little machine that is running, that they've created here, and as that revenue is coming in, it just keeps that operating and working.
Okay, yeah, I need a diagram, I think, because I have a hard time wrapping my head around it. I trust it just fine. But then when people ask me questions, it's like, don't you trust me? And they don't trust me. They want answers, right?
Right.
And so I keep asking the same question, I know, but every time I get the answer, it becomes a little clearer to me. So I appreciate this answer, and yes, we will talk about it some more.
Sure.
Thank you.
You bet.
I wanted to add something real quick on that trust statement. I was talking to somebody at up in Salt Lake the other week, and we were talking about how the price, all of you guys are killing it on referring people and, building your businesses and doing super, super well. But right now, the price in all these projects is reflecting that most people just have trust in the project. And what I mean by that is a lot of, like, let's say my dad, for example, someone comes on, or Cosette and Eric, for example. Cosette knows Eric is a stand-up guy. He's a smart guy. She trusts him. She doesn't need to know all the details, but she comes on board, right? And then people that trust Cosette, they're like, this sounds good. I don't know all the details. They come on board. So a lot of the ecosystem right now and the price that we're seeing is reflecting on just pretty much trust. Most people don't fully understand what they have here. And I think that's really, really exciting, guys, because when the price starts to reflect not just trust, but reflect that everybody is understanding what they have here, the price is going to look a lot different. I promise you guys that. It's kind of like if you think about Bitcoin, people that are, if Eric told me to buy Bitcoin in 2012 and I bought it because I trusted him, I didn't understand what I had there, but the price would reflect it. And as more and more people understand what's going on and understand the value that's behind it, not just trusting somebody, but actually knowing for themselves, as the masses that occurs to them, the price is going to go up potentially, I need to add. So
and Chandler, that's interesting you bring that up, because if you guys watched the last 3 days, I kept getting bombarded by people. Why is NatG down 10%? Why is it down 8%? And I'm watching this, and I'm also on CoinMarketCap. I'm watching the debt coin, because when they announced on Monday yesterday, that now you can start moving the coin around and so on. And you start seeing the percentages starting to drop. It's because people are moving the coin. They're moving the coin around within the back end in the system, which reflects in the percentages being adjusted as well. Because when you watched, and I don't know, I mean, Chandler, you may have watched this as well, but when the amount of nodes that were being purchased on Bev and Blocks started to kind of taper out towards that end before they made that price adjustment, what happened to the other coins? Boom, they started moving back up again. It's like they went in and they sealed that leak on those coins at that point, because people were moving that coin out and purchasing. What were they doing? They were buying Bev, they were buying these. And so understand, when you see coins moving down, and if you were at the summit and you heard them talk about it, that's not a bad thing. Okay, that's part of how this whole system works. Now, Chandler was talking also about when that stops and you start seeing the value starting to create. Imagine when this starts getting onto those exchanges and stuff, and when people start seeing more and more about what these projects are doing. What do you think is going to happen at that point? So we don't know by any means, but we have kind of an idea, right? And so just when you see those coins moving around, just know there's a lot of stuff that's taking place in the back end and so on that's happening right now. Now, especially with debt, now you can use the coins to buy, other nodes and so on. I think it's brilliant.
Can I just chime in for a sec?
You bet.
I just wanted to emphasize on the reason why this project is doing so well. And if you look at the history over the last year, well, it's been over a year we've been in a bear market, right? And this project has done very well right through the bear market. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is, and there's a couple of reasons why there's so many projects that go down in these market conditions. And the main reason is that all the projects in crypto, 99% of them, rely on crypto investors and their capital within the ecosystem, within the crypto system, right? That's what they rely on for the actual projects to go forward. With this, the revenue comes from outside the crypto space. So like with NatG, when they get some of the natural gas and they sell it, they use that revenue, they come into the NatG project in crypto, they buy some tokens, they then burn them, so it's reducing the supply. But the most important thing to understand is that the revenue is coming from outside of crypto, so it's not susceptible to market conditions, because what it does is when they come in and buy these tokens from out of crypto, it's simulating buyer power, right? So it's not reliant on the actual crypto investors, and that's why you've seen this project come right through this bear market. Now, what's going to happen is when Bitcoin actually turns and starts going up again, this market starts rising. What is it? A ship, when the tide goes up, it brings all ships with it. That's what's going to happen with this project. And because it's because it's thrived for so long, and now there's a lot of trust being built with a lot of these team leaders and the way that people are portraying the project's going to do extremely well. Like there's just there's no doubt. And when that market turns, if you've accumulated all those tokens from mining and not blowing them and spent them if you haven't needed to, if you've been accumulating, it's going to be a shell shock on what the prices will do in a bull market. It's going to be a shell shock.
Absolutely. Kelly, you've had your hand up. I don't know how to do anything about it, but I see it.
That's okay. I do. Yeah. So discussing on that point, one thing that I really like about this project is how that 10% when we withdraw the tokens into our wallet, that is also helping the ecosystem, because it's also helping burn out some coins that are going into that burn pool, I'll call it. And that's a really important factor when we're just doing our transactions of pulling the mined coins into our wallets. We're actually still contributing to that burn wallet as well, which is going to help our price go up.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. When you guys think about all the factors, there's so many. They have the burns from, just every transaction, 10%. You know how many people I helped liquidate thousands of dollars this week to buy the new nodes, which is great for the new nodes and the debt ecosystem, but also great because I didn't liquidate any of my tokens. So I'm helping all these people sell all their tokens and it's helping mine go up. And obviously it's going to pay off because they have their own nodes too and stuff. And Bev and blocks are going to be huge, but that's a factor. The revenue alone is a really big factor. The halvings are a factor. Bitcoin halves every 4 years. Some of these projects every year. And I mean, with Bev, it's going to be quarterly quarter. So that is going to be quite interesting to watch and see how that goes. So these are going to be huge. Sarah, I don't know if you anything else there, but I got to get going here soon.
No, I think that, I mean, we spent an hour on here. I just want to thank you guys for hopping on. I don't think there's anything, unless you want to add in about maybe your take about any of the extra projects, picking them up before they continue to go up in price, encouragement there or anything like that.
I mean, one thing I will say is I have never seen licenses move like these licenses. If you go in your back office, guys, I'm looking at mine right now, you can see that there is a ton. So for example, with XPLR, right, there's 148,993 licenses that have been sold, which you guys can look at this in your own, DebtBox back office. To put that in perspective, guys, that's been out for almost what, 6 months now, maybe?
Yeah,
6, 7 months.
Yeah.
Dude, Bev licenses, Bev has sold 79,030 licenses in a week, maybe 2 weeks, guys. That is insane. Over 100 million, which I don't want to spoil anything here, but like the company goal was 500 million in revenue. That's 100 million in licenses right there, like already sold. That's insane. I'll check what blocks is. So these licenses, guys, it's only exponential growth with the tokens potentially. And also, but with this ecosystem and with this team that people are building and buying licenses. So definitely, I've never seen licenses sell faster. I don't know if anyone else has, but if you're thinking about pulling the trigger on these prices will continue to go up at record speeds. I can tell you that. So
yeah, we've already blown through. If you see that list of where they adjust the prices as it's going on the number of nodes being sold, we've already blown through. That's why I had to send a message to Chandler the other day, and I was like, have they really sold 50%? I couldn't believe it. I was just like in shock. I thought I saw an error on my thing, but he's like, yeah, they have. I was amazed by it. So yes, I agree. If you're thinking about it, you need to act on it and get on it because they're going so fast right now.
Where will this recording be found?
I will post it in our IX member group when it uploads. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us. I don't want to make this a super long call. We'll do this at least every other week or maybe try to get it in weekly just because there's so much education. Thank you, Chandler. Thank you, Eric, for hopping on with us.
You bet. Thank you for having us.
no problem. See you guys.
Everybody.
Great.
Sure.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good
Awesome.
week. Bye-bye.
Thank
Night.
you. Good